I'm having a great chat. Where are you, by the way? You're in
I'm in Bloomfield, Connecticut.
Bloomfield, Connecticut, with
Yes.
Christa. Oh, here we go. Rakish.
Racking.
Rakish. Sorry,
Rackish.
everybody who's watching will understand that I've been rehearsing the exact wrong pronunciation. So you'll forgive me, Christa, and everybody
hmm
else. Let's do it
hmm
again. Christa Rakish.
Yes.
That's a good one. I hope I get it correct. Yet. Who is organist and organist harpsichordist? You have a tremendous career, New England School of Music. I seem to recall reading something. Faculty, I mean, you are indeed one of us, if you will, in the
Yeah.
profession,
hmm
and you are artist in residence at the Congregational Church of Somers, Connecticut. That's the topic of our discussion today because
Great. I
you
love talking about that place.
well, you have, and because you have put out, we'll talk the whole history. It's amazing, and there's incredible video about this church and its fate and its phoenix like
Yes. Rising
rising
from the
from the ash,
very.
literally,
hmm
um,
hmm
in Summers, but and being commemorated with this wonderful CD that I've had the great opportunity to have a chance to listen to, and I'll be reviewing at performingartsreview.net very soon here. From the Ashes. How appropriate is that? Wonderful CD that's kind of a composite of you and two incredible colleagues, cellist Kathleen Shiano. What a beautiful, beautiful sound from her instrument. And flutist
Isn't she
Greg,
gorgeous?
ah,
Yeah.
and flutist Greg Scherer. Both of them play in the
Shearer. Yeah. hmm
Scherer. Here we go again.
hmm hmm
Potato, potato. Greg Scherer. The two of them play in the Hartford Symphony, and of course, Greg's on faculty at the Hart School, and so on and so forth. First class professional musicians, and a beautiful choice of programming. May I also add
Thank you.
may I congratulate you in terms of introducing this organ. Let me find it here. Come on, help me right now. The
Richard Spaux.
Richards Fowkes
Yes.
Opus 21 organ, which I
Yeah.
presume is
Opus.
a
Yes.
level of instrument to
Yes. Yes.
to suit this beautiful. Imagine everybody, Connecticut, New England, the steepled white steepled colonial church that was and is the resurrection
hmm
of
hmm
Somers of Congregational Church in Somers, Connecticut.
Yeah.
The congregation dates back to 1727. I mean, we are talking old folks, founders. This is only 50 years after the people stepped off that Mayflower, things like that. So history, 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 and more history. And in 2012, um, the building which we suspect we were, Krista and I were talking about, maybe the final kind of building that did burn to the ground in 2012 was probably perhaps put up in the mid to late 19th century, although it is in that colonial
hmm
style
hmm
of architecture. Burnt to the ground, and there are videos all over the internet, and it is stunning.
Yes.
It is stunning. Really, it is a stunning
hmm hmm
visual. The way those buildings from that period just went up in flames. You can now see how come
Oh, it's
Chicago burnt to the ground.
yes, yes, horrifying, horrifying, because you can see in the fire the outline of the building, and you can see it beginning to crumble, and you know what's going to happen before it does, and then the flames get brighter, and down it comes.
Yeah, that
It's
steeple. I'll never forget that when the
just
steeple
horrible,
collapsed.
just
Yeah.
horrible, and what it must have been like for that to be one's own church and to be there in the middle of the night on January 1st of
Mm.
2012 and to see this happening right in front of you and the fire trucks from all the surrounding towns there unable to do anything to stop
Really,
this conflagration. Just
yeah.
horrible.
That's what I meant about those buildings from that time, wooden buildings, and I was using Chicago as the analogy.
Mm,
Once they take fire, that's it.
that's
They just
it.
go up fast. Well, the good side of that story is by 2014, the building had been completely rebuilt, and you
hmm
got your new organ, and
And there was a new organ in it. Yes, yeah.
and then you must have come on. When did you come on board there as artist in residence?
Shortly after the fire, as luck would have it, a student of mine was music director at the church
Oh,
at the time, and she called me in a panic the next day, just not having any idea what to do, and I said, I believe it or not, I know exactly what to do, and I knew what people she should consult with, and how to form an exploratory committee to decide on what kind of instrument should go into a church like that. and they
Wow.
ended up with a real gem of an organ.
It is indeed. And again, congratulations to the recording engineer who put this CD together and just
Yes.
everybody involved in the CD. Because as I listened to it, well, first of all, I was immersed immediately. The very first piece, I've forgotten Bach, right? Yeah, Bach
Bach.
piece.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
because of the quality of the sound in that room, to capture it on microphone must be
Mm-hmm.
extremely difficult, and the balancing and the voicing and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have
Mm-hmm.
a gem of an instrument indeed, and as you
Yeah.
just mentioned, if it ain't right for the room, and that's the art
Right.
of it. If it's too big for the room, you're in trouble. If it's too small for the room,
Yes.
you're in trouble. And this
Yeah.
was sounds to me like a more than perfect match. And I
Yeah.
assume the congregation is comfortable with the idea that they have a beautiful concert hall as well as a place of worship.
Yeah. They do. Very clean, clear, acoustic, warm,
Yeah.
but not overly reverberant, and good for speech, good for music, good for chamber music,
Mm.
good for organ music. It's really a lovely, lovely room.
Mm.
Organists like to say the most important stop on any instrument is the room. And
Oh,
here
that's
we have a
good.
combination of a first-rate organ and a first-rate room. So we're very lucky.
So we're on the subject now. It's your turn because, as we all can admit, organs are a bit of a mystery. I think I mentioned something about the Wizard of Oz
Mm-hmm.
and cranking his machine. I mean, organs are amazing instruments. Give me a little information about this instrument, if you can, without making us all our heads spin.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the firm is co-owned by two guys, Ralph Richards and Bruce Fawkes. And they've been organ builders professionally for over 30 years now. And they've built some marvelous, marvelous instruments, uh, gorgeous in appearance, gorgeous in sound, and gorgeous in feel. The actions are just sublime. And when you're playing a Richards Fawkes organ, you really feel like the instrument is breathing under your fingertips.
Mm.
It's nothing short of miraculous. It's really just such a such a joy and such a power trip and such a thrill to play an instrument that these guys have built.
Well, then I think I can actually also praise the organ for what I heard on this CD, which was, as we've just discussed, such clean playing. And of course, I'm being a little tongue in cheek. Don't take offense, I hope. But that the instrument is very, very responsive.
The instrument is very responsive. It's not a large room and it's not a large instrument, but the instrument seems not to know that it's not big. And it has a wide range of color. And even though
Yeah.
it has not all that many stops, what are there? Maybe 17 on the instrument, I think, so, the 16, 17,
So
something like that. Uh, the number of different combinations of stops is so spectacular and so intriguing that you can get a lot of color and a lot of warmth out of the instrument
mm,
with judicious registrations.
that's for sure. And again, the programming itself. I mean, there's a little Franck, of course. There's Bach. There's a piece
Uh
of
huh.
yours I really found very
Yep.
interesting.
Yep.
Your
Mm-hmm.
variations,
Mm-hmm.
and help. For some reason, I don't have the program right at the tip of my fingers, but and a wonderful a trio for
Yes, a trio sonata of Bach.
yeah,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
that you can. Here we go. Found it. Sorry about that, everybody. What impressed me was the Edward Elgar.
Oh, isn't that a
What
gorgeous
three
those
beautiful
pieces?
pieces for
Oh,
cello and organ.
so beautiful.
And about Kathleen's playing, again, we've already saluted the room, which of
Yeah.
course
Mm-hmm.
is clearly magnificent. But
Mm-hmm.
Kathleen's playing is gorgeous,
Gorgeous,
absolutely gorgeous, first
gorgeous.
class, and everything that goes with gorgeous playing, which is to say intellect and intuition and
Yes.
understand all of it. Likewise,
Yeah.
I find you're playing quite fun too
Thank you.
in that sense. I heard,
Uh,
I thought, I may be completely off my knocker on this one, but I heard so many wonderful, charming little subtle things, including some very subtle ornamentation. I can't quite remember the piece;
mm-hmm.
it's in my
Mm-hmm.
notes somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
just how you use the instrument, especially
Yes.
after all of this expertise and these years on the instrument that you've had.
Yeah.
What is? What are we? How are we doing? We're getting pretty good here on timing. What else can you say about this you've been there now. What is that? About 4 years, something like
4 years,
about 4 years.
yes, yes, since
How does
24.
it feel in terms of the congregation and its openness to art? We've touched on it, but what is that? What's going on there?
Yes, well, the since the fire, the congregation has had to go through a number of months of rebuilding. Some people have moved. For some people, I think the stress of it was just
Mm,
too much. But they're beginning now to grow anew. And just last year, their minister of 30 years retired.
mm.
So they're now searching for a new a senior pastor. And I think the interim pastor is very energized and has really done a lot of interviewing of various members of the congregation and has really pulled together some fantastic resources aimed primarily at search for a new permanent pastor.
Mm.
But in so doing, I think has aroused a new interest in what the church has to offer, and in having essentially a concert hall, this wonderful
It
space,
really is
and a
beautiful.
first-rate instrument in
Yeah.
it. There's now a growing interest in presenting more and more concerts.
Good. And of course, that's good for the congregation.
Yes,
Drawing
yes,
people to the
exactly.
room, drawing
Hmm.
fresh
Hmm.
audience to the room. Well, again, all I can really say. By the way, how long have you known your colleagues, the cellist and flutist? Sorry,
For a very long time, at
you
least
mentioned
20
that,
years,
yeah.
I would say.
And played
Yes.
together, chamber music and everything. Let me.
I had never played with Greg before. I asked him to join me on this recording, and the recording is actually a retake, if you will, of the dedication concert.
Ah,
So Greg and Kathy joined me at the dedication of the
good.
inaugural concert of the new organ, and then we recorded the same program later. Kathy and I had played together before, and I used to be music director at a church in West Hartford where we did two choral concerts a year with a string quartet, and Kathy was always my
Okay,
standby
I
cellist
see.
in
Yeah,
that string quartet. So I had employed her a number of times to do a variety of things
I
for me.
see.
And yeah,
Well, now that really all does make sense. You had mentioned that you've known them for many, many years, and again, yeah, it's all
yeah,
this. It's kind of the collegiality of musicians. You're in
yes.
your Connecticut niche, as it
Yes,
were,
yes. You know, you find
friends in kind.
somebody that you click with artistically. It's not all that easy to find people that you really have an automatic artistic understanding with. And in these two, I really have. So I'm very grateful to be friends with them and co-workers, colleagues. Very
Good.
lucky.
Well, let me just run this by, and I think we're done. I have just finished reviewing From the Ashes. It's going to be up on performingartsreview.net, and that's going to give you links
Mhm.
to purchase the CD. It's going to give you a link, as I recall, to Congregational Church in Somers, Connecticut,
Good.
and a link also to your website. Uh,
Great.
Krista, it's been wonderful just to have you be able to give me a few minutes so we can chat this up. And by the way, the interview will go up along with my review at the website. Uh,
Okay.
from the Ashes, wonderful sort of rededication of the new church at Somers, Connecticut. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.